Have you ever noticed how fear always speaks the loudest when you're on the verge of a breakthrough? Fear tells you you're not strong enough, that the future is uncertain, and that you're fighting this battle alone. But here is the truth: fear doesn't want you to know. Fear is a reaction, but faith is a decision. God did not create you to live trapped in the shadows of anxiety. Today, we are uncovering how to quiet the noise. Shift your perspective from your circumstances to your Creator, and walk in unshakable confidence, no matter what you are facing. Welcome back to the Scripture Room. If you've been carrying a heavy heart, tossing and turning at night over things you can't control, or feeling like life is pressing in on you from every side, you are not here by accident. We live in a world that constantly feeds our worries, reminding us of everything that could go wrong. But this space is your breathing room, a place to pause, reset, and realign your mind with truth. Today, we are diving deep into what it truly means to choose faith over fear. We're going to look at the human experience, the weight of life's struggles, and how God meets us right in the middle of our uncertainty. Our scriptural passages will be taken from Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10, and it says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7, and it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Life has a quiet way of overwhelming us, doesn't it? You wake up in the morning, and before your feet even touch the floor, the weight of the day lands on your chest. The unanswered emails, the bills that keep piling up, the doctor's appointment you've been dreading, the silent rift in a relationship that used to bring you joy. Or maybe it's just the heavy, quiet fear of the unknown, the nagging whisper in the back of your mind that asks, what if it all falls apart? If you felt that weight recently, I want you to take a deep breath right now. You are not weak for feeling afraid. You are human. Fear is one of the most basic human experiences. It was designed as an alarm system, a natural response to danger meant to protect us from harm. But in the world we live in today, that alarm system rarely turns off. We are inundated with noise, bad news, constant comparison, and endless expectations. Before long, fear stops being a temporary reaction and starts becoming a permanent place we live in. We start projecting worst-case scenarios into tomorrow. We try to control every detail of our lives, thinking that if we can just manage everything perfectly, nothing can hurt us. But control is an illusion, isn't it? The harder we try to grasp everything, the more exhausted we become. Fear convinces us that we are entirely on our own, that every burden, every decision, and every outcome rests solely on our fragile shoulders. And that is the most exhausting way to live. When you spend your life bracing for the worst, you lose the ability to enjoy the present. You trade peace for predictability. You trade joy for survival. But here is the truth that life often buries beneath the panic. You were never designed to carry the weight of tomorrow today. So how do we break the cycle of fear? How do we stop fear from driving the vehicle of our lives? It begins with understanding a fundamental truth. Fear is a reaction, but faith is a decision. Fear happens to you automatically. It springs up in your thoughts the second uncertainty arrives. It feeds on the what-ifs. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if my best effort isn't enough? Fear demands that you focus entirely on the obstacle. It magnifies the storm until you can't see anything else. Faith, on the other hand, is an active choice. Faith doesn't mean ignoring the storm. It doesn't mean pretending that the trial isn't real or that you don't feel nervous. True faith is looking right at the storm, acknowledging its presence, and then choosing to focus on something greater than the storm. Think about a sailboat out on the open sea. The sailor cannot control the direction of the wind. They cannot stop the waves from rising or the weather from changing. If they focus only on the power of the ocean, panic sets in. But an experienced sailor doesn't try to fight the water. They adjust their sails. They anchor their vessel. When fear blows hard against your life, faith is the anchor that holds your soul steady. Notice what Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10 says. It doesn't say, "Fear will never come." It says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." Notice the ground for courage here. God doesn't say, "Don't fear because you are strong enough," or "Don't fear because life will always go smoothly." He says, "Do not fear, for I am with you." The antidote to fear isn't perfection or absolute control. The antidote to fear is God's presence. When a small child is terrified of the dark, you don't give them a complex explanation about physics or logic. You simply step into the room, hold their hand, and say, "I'm right here." Immediately, the room hasn't changed, but the child's world has. Why, you may ask? Because the presence of someone stronger than their fear changes everything. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture of life. Look at the cosmos. Look at the balance of creation. The same hands that flung galaxies into existence, the same hand that calibrated the precise distance between the Earth and the Sun so life could flourish, is the God who knows your name. How often do we shrink God down to the size of our immediate problem? We look at our bank account, our diagnosis, or our heartbreak, and we magnify it until it looks towering and unbeatable. In doing so, we accidentally minimize God. We act as though our current hardship is somehow too complex for the Creator of the universe to handle. Life is full of seasons. There are seasons of harvest, and there are seasons of pruning. There are seasons where light shines clearly, and seasons where walking forward requires absolute trust in the God. If life were completely smooth, completely predictable, and completely within your control, you would never discover the depth of your own resilience. More importantly, you would never experience the sweetness of trusting God when you have nothing left to lean on. Think back over your own life for a moment. Think about the mountain you thought you'd never climb 3 years ago. Think about the heartbreaks you thought would break you permanently. Think about the moments where you didn't know how you were going to pay the bill or survive the trial. You are still here. You survived 100% of your hardest days. God brought you through them, and He will bring you through now. His track record in your life is faithful, even when your feelings tell you otherwise. Fear looks at the future through the lens of worry. Faith looks at the future through the lens of God's track record. So how do we practically live this out starting today? First, reframe your narrative. The next time fear whispers a "what if," finish the sentence with faith. When fear says, "What if it goes wrong?" reply with, "What if God uses this for my good?" When fear says, "What if I fail?" reply with, "What if I learn, grow, and step into my purpose?" Second, release the need to see the whole staircase. You don't need to know how every detail of your future will play out over the next 5 years. You only need enough light for the next step. Take that step in faith, trusting that when your foot lands, the light for the step after that will be waiting for you. Third, anchor yourself in quietness. You cannot hear the still, small voice of God if your mind is constantly drowned out by the noise of panic and media. Dedicate time each day to step away. Lower your screen, quiet your heart, and remind yourself who is truly on the throne of your life. Remember, God did not promise a life without storms, but He promised that the storm would not consume you. He promised to be your strength when you are weak, your guide when you are lost, and your comfort when you are broken. Fear wants to keep you small, timid, and trapped in survival mode. But faith invites you to step out into the fullness of the life God prepared for you. Today, make the choice. Let your fear be the invitation to dive deeper into your faith. When fear knocks on your door, let faith answer. You are held. You are guided. And with God beside you, you are far stronger than anything ahead of you. Take a quiet moment right now to reflect on where fear has been quietly holding you back. What is the one area of your life where you've been trying to control everything instead of trusting God? Is it your career, your family, your health, or your future? What would your life look like if you replaced your what ifs with God is? If you truly believed that God is holding your hand right now, what step of courage would you take today? Remember, fear demands your attention, but faith deserves your trust. Let go of the heavy weight you were never meant to carry alone. If this message brought peace to your heart or reminded you of God's presence today, please consider taking a moment to like this video. It helps this message reach someone else who might be battling fear right now. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our daily spiritual encouragement. And if you know a friend or family member who needs this gentle reminder today, share this video with them. Thank you for spending your time here. Remember, walk in peace, hold on to hope, and choose faith over fear today. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.